What's up, guys? Welcome to Restar's Life. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's episode, I want to go over 22 problems that I'm working through in my eBay business, and they really all stem from the same one problem, which I'm going to start with. But if you guys enjoy this type of content, please smash the like button and consider subscribing because they give you guys some different things that you can think about to improve your online store. Let's get straight into it. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, because this is a live stream. Okay, all 22 problems come from the same root problem, which is me. I am the problem. Most small business owners, the problem with the business is the small business owner because they are constantly changing all the different parameters, and that makes it really difficult to get really good at it. Just to make it as simple as possible, if you don't watch any of the rest of the video, the problem is that when you get a job, you get hired to do a very specific thing. But when you work for yourself, you just do whatever you want all day, and sometimes the important things don't get done. So I'm just going to go over the things that I think that are really getting in my way, and I'm just going to open up the chat here. So if you guys have any questions, throw them in there, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Okay, the very first one is lack of vision. So here's the thing. You kind of need to know what your business is going to look like when it's done. That's the question I ask everyone. Please put it in the comment section below. Please put it in your, please put in the comment section below what this looks like when it's done. How much money is it making you? How much space do you need? What kind of products do you sell? What is the full vision? If you guys write down every single day what you want and are you getting closer to it, that's really going to help you put together the pieces. For me, I really, really struggle with this, to be honest. I don't know if I want to run the biggest store ever because I've looked at the biggest stores ever and I kind of know how that works. Doesn't mean that I know how, but I've seen how they do it. Whether or not I'm capable of pulling that off is a different story. But the vision, do I want to have a hands-off business where sort of a laptop lifestyle where I get to, essentially it pays my bills and I can go, I'm sort of free to do what I want, or do I want more employees? Do I want FU money? Because that requires a totally different take, right? It really does matter. Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one is no niche. So as far as niche goes, you guys know I've been focusing more on shoes. So for the most part, I'm really only listing shoes. I have, I think these are Air Bacons. I've got some really cool inventory coming in, and since I focused on it, I'm starting to realize that there are more shoes than I could even ever list. There's so many shoes. I even got these really cool marathon shoes. I'm gonna grab them real quick. I think these are the marathon shoes that the 2-hour marathon were ran in. So these were the soles on the shoe is probably around 300 or 250 to 300, and I picked them up for 90. So I mean, obviously, that's more than most people would spend on a shoe like this. But again, for me, it's an easy flip. There's no final value fee on shoes over $100 on eBay. And I've had a lot of experience with authenticating Nike, so it doesn't worry me too much. Plus, this shoe is not super highly faked, at least in this colorway. I've seen the pink one and the green one in fakes so far, but not this colorway. So it's interesting. I would say that the second biggest problem is not focusing on a niche, which makes it really hard because, when you work at a Starbucks, they don't ask you, to fry a pig. They don't ask you to um, do some gardening because it's not related. But when you are a reseller and you sell in every category, then one week you might be listing a record player, and the next week you might be listing a bow and arrow, and the next week you might be listing some hats. And it's just really hard to build momentum when you don't pick it. So third is they have too long of a business plan, or they have these elaborate things that they're trying to do in their business that are not really necessary. You kind of only need to know what you're going to do in the next 90 days. When you're doing a resale company, trust me, I have tons of spreadsheets and charts of where I think it's going to go, but you just sort of need to know what you're going to do in the next 90 days and then your end goal. And then every couple of months you can adjust. But, even with myself, I find myself changing things in my store all the time, and that can make it very, very difficult to build momentum. Okay, number four is not understanding that eBay is just a marketing platform. This is huge. Thank you, John, for the super chat of $5. I appreciate that. When you are doing reselling, eBay is a marketing channel. It's not your employer. You can choose to list your items anywhere. eBay is just one platform. I don't understand. Actually, I do understand. People identify themselves as eBay sellers, but that's a little bit dangerous. You need to look at eBay as one of your marketing platforms. It sort of takes all the pressure off of you because you're like, you know what? I'm an online store. I can choose different platforms where different items sell super well. You guys can experiment with Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon. Different platforms have different pros and cons, and you need to realize you need to think about your marketing plan. Are you going to be per person that cross lists? Do you have the tools to do that? This is super important. Think about eBay as a marketing platform. I think a lot of pressure will fall off of you because you know, okay, I don't need to rely on eBay. I can just get marketing from somewhere else, even running your own website. I think the people who think eBay is expensive don't really understand how difficult it is to bring traffic to your own website. It's very difficult to do that. Okay, next one is no action. I was just talking to a gentleman in Australia. He scheduled a consulting call with me, and you guys can do that too with the link in the Calendly link in the description below. And he was saying he's the opposite of his friend. His friend is all planning, no action. He's the all action, no planning. So I was like, why don't you hire your friend to walk around and write down what you're doing since you're the all action guy? And for him, it's great because he's the all hypothetical guy and never actually tries anything. So there's two different kinds of people who always just plan and take no action, people who take action and never plan. So it's just like the don't just do something, stand there, which is the opposite of don't just stand there, do something. You have to do both. You have to stand there and think, and you have to go do things. Both of those are required to build a resale shop, just because it takes a while. So I got a lot of messages about people saying, okay, I'm no longer a reseller. I'm an online store owner. So I'm like, okay, you have to go a little bit further than that because what would an online store owner do? That becomes what your day is. You can't just call yourself an online store owner and then not do any of the activities related to that. So think about what that person would do. Great, you're an online store owner. That's awesome. But now you need to do what that person does. Number six, no commitment to learning. This one is massive. So I can tell you guys how to do reselling right now. Pause the video, smash the like button, go get a pen and paper, then come back and then restart the video. This is how you do it. I don't think this needs to take a really long time for you to learn. Okay? Doing this really slowly over the course of a couple of years is not necessary. You can do like a accelerated program to get better at this quickly, and I'll show you how to do that. What you want to do is follow a few different resellers, find out what it is they do, ask them how they do it their way, right? And then you just copy and make your own strategy based on learning from multiple sources. So you might listen to me and get a couple of ideas on how to store your items or how to take photos. Then follow somebody else and look at how they do inventory. Follow somebody and watch them how they do wholesale. Take all these tidbits, but if you're not willing to learn how to do it, you're going to be in big trouble because this is a moving target. I've been doing this for 3 years and it's changed quite a bit. There's a lot of new competition in some categories are completely gone, some are super full. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, there's a lot of Amazon sellers on eBay. This did not happen before. When I first started talking about it, people used to look down on eBay as in like, oh, you're on eBay? That must mean that you're not you're not willing to put in the work to do what it really takes to be on Amazon because Amazon sellers make 10 times as much money. And I thought that was true too. Because when I went to Amazon events, they're at like five-star hotels, and they're spending $10,000 on consulting. They're flying to China to look at private label products. And then I go to an eBay event and people are complaining about $5 for an entry fee, right? So I'm like, oh wow, there's eBay sellers and then there's Amazon sellers. But now we can see all these Amazon sellers that are restricted in items and they can't sell it. Amazon's super behind. Now they're looking at eBay. And guess what? They have deeper pockets. So they're reaching out to these wholesalers. If you guys are trying liquidation right now, I can tell you it's much more difficult because they are okay with 10, 20% margins and you might not be. So you're probably being outbid if you're looking for liquidation stuff online right now. It's very competitive. So the landscape has changed. Number 7 is not following up with customers. This is important. You want to get used to preemptively answering customers as the best that you can and just getting used to it. So how I look at it is maybe 3 times a day when you wake up, middle of the day during lunch, dinner time, you check your customer service and get used to the follow-up in a speedy manner. Most of the time, you can prevent a customer service issue if you respond within the first few hours, and I haven't had the experience of not being able to fix it if I answer within a day. They might be upset that you didn't answer while you were asleep, but if you get a good night's rest and wake up in the morning and offer them a resolution, usually you'll be fine. Thank you, Ali, for stopping by and hopefully manning the chat so that other people can get questions. All of you guys are also welcome to email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com. I just had a lady reach out to me saying that she's selling her Poshmark closet. This is awesome because I have purchased many Poshmark closets. That's one of my favorite ways to source. So if you want to close your closet and get a regular job, email me. I'd be happy to take a look at your whole closet, pay one sum for the whole thing. Usually I wait until I get it. It depends on if I trust you or not, but I want to look at your store and how you handle it. And essentially, the people that I'm picking, I'm just looking at the way they run their store. If everything is like really messed up in their store, it's unlikely that I'm going to be purchasing that lot. But if it's somebody who knows what they're doing with quality stuff, that person's probably just found a better opportunity somewhere else. And I'm very interested in that lot. Okay, the next one is inconsistent listing. This is really the main one. This is the reason why so many people are interested in replenishables. And replenishables are items that you can reorder. And the reason for that is that it's consistent. You don't need to keep listing. So for me, I'm definitely looking at working with running stores because I'd like to figure out what happens to their returns. Running shoes are returned a lot because when people spend $300 for a pair of shoes, they want it to work perfectly. This pair of shoes actually was not even been tried on, which is surprising. That usually people who buy, my friend didn't even run 1 mile in these, which is surprising. So it just goes to show, like, there's plenty of people who are buying stuff because they don't want to be left out. He's an avid runner, so he bought these shoes, but he never even tried them. So it blows my mind how much stuff at the thrift store or in people's closets is brand new. That's really insane. Okay, I want to talk about this next one, which is failure to plan your day. This one is huge. Let me know in the chat below if your day is really scheduled. Mine is really scheduled. So, as you guys know, I'm super into self care. So, when I wake up, I spend about an hour with myself gathering my thoughts. Then I do a mastermind call where I talk to people who do the same thing as me. We're building the same vision, building an online store together. After that, go on a walk with my wife, spend maybe an hour or 2 hours with her in the morning. She's working at home now, so we hang out for a bit. I usually skip breakfast, but sometimes I'll have oatmeal. Then I come here, work for 4 hours in my store. After that, I spend 1 or 2 hours thinking up a YouTube video based on what happened to me during the day. And then also, I might take 1 or 2 coaching calls. At 5 o'clock, when I go to the post office or drop off my post office stuff at the front for the guy to come pick up, I'm done for the day. So I go home at 6 o'clock. I plug in my phone. That's it. Don't look at it the rest of the day. And for me, that's been awesome. I feel like I pretty much have the perfect day. The only thing that would be a little bit different, I think, is I would try to limit my coaching to 2 calls per day. I noticed this was with a lot of super wealthy people that I met. Even though they're doing really well, they still take time to do mentoring or coaching or to be mentored, and it keeps their ideas fresh. And I think that's important. So you see people who make $50,000 an hour as an owner of 10 businesses, coaching their friend how to start a business for $200 an hour when it makes no sense financially for them to do that, but they're just in the game. And it's nice to be around hungry people. People who are trying to make a better life for themselves are always fun to be around. And I love planners. I love action takers. These are my favorite people. I love people who are creative and start and do things. It's super nice. Okay, next is failure to understand what customers want. This is pretty insane, okay? So I was just talking to a gentleman and I asked him, how do you price your items? I'm doing a store review now, looking through your store. What are these prices? You tell me how you're pricing it." And he said, "Well, I price it based on what I want to get for it. I know like it sells for 80 bucks, but I want to get $150 for it. So I listed at $150." And I'm like, "Well, I don't I don't know how do you get $150 for it when all the other ones have sold for 80? That doesn't really make sense to me." So it's interesting that people don't care about customer behavior. They just do what they want out of the item. So you guys need to think about what your customers are looking for. Is your item a good deal? Is it rare? I just think it's important to think like that. Okay. Next would be inventory mismanagement. This is huge. Let me know in the chat if my audio drops because I think my AirPods are almost out of battery. But not being able to find an item is very frustrating and takes up a lot of time. So have a clean inventory system, look inside your bins and make sure that they're organized. And that's really important to keep like 50% of your bin empty. Um, Here is a bin that I have that I just have literally 2 shoe boxes in. That's it. The reason is because right now I have a little bit of extra space. So I want to make sure that my bins are really easy to find things in. So all of my bins ideally are going to be 50% full or less. That's just going to make it easier for me to find things. Yes, I could stack them all the way full, but I'd rather have twice as much space because looking for things takes up so much time. And so for me, I think it's important to have 50% of your space empty, unless the whole thing is just one item. Okay, so I have bins that are completely full because they all have the same thing in them. So that's okay to fill all the way to the top. Next one is unsustainable growth. This one is ridiculous. Okay, so you might be finding deal after deal after deal after deal. And when you get to that point, um, you hire 3 people to help you list and you grow like crazy. The thing is, it takes a while for your revenue to catch up, right? So maybe you hire 3 people and all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 grand a week in overhead. You're paying these people. At one point, I was spending more than $10,000 a week. Okay, this is like payroll, this is inventory, this is store. It was like ridiculous. And I decided, you know what? I don't want this big of a company because I don't want this big of a one-off company, is what I decided. I do want that big of a resale company, but I don't want that the headache of managing that many different SKUs, right? So that's why I talk about my pursuit of 10,000 items doesn't mean 10,000 SKUs. Okay, items are gonna hopefully shrink, so I just have the really good stuff that sells over and over again. So make sure that you have sustainable growth. Um, don't all of a sudden sign up for all these crazy employees and buy 10 truckloads because you may not be able to sustain that because the revenue could actually go down. Okay. Don't expect it to just keep going up as you go up because that's not how it works from my experience. It takes a while to stagger on your way up. And sometimes on the way when you're staggering up, you actually go down. If you notice the stock charts, they go up and down. Your business is the same way. You could have twice as many items in your store and have the same number of sales. So don't just think it just goes up and up and up. It doesn't work like that. I don't know any stores that do that. Also, don't look at your store day to day to day. I'm not going to answer any emails that are like, last month I had 2 slow days. Like, how are we able? We can't, that doesn't mean anything. It's too small of a sample size. Look at it on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. Did you grow over time? A day here or there doesn't really make sense. Okay, this is the number one business killer. Okay, you guys ready for this? The number one business killer is lack of sales. Okay, this is really the problem. You can kind of get away with not knowing what you're doing if your stuff is selling. Okay, and that comes from just being a really good picker. So I recommend if you are just getting started, take your time and put really good stuff in your store because it'll sell and it'll give you the lifeblood. If you're not sure, this is kind of a tricky thing because I do want you to get a lot of practice by selling things to understand how things sell. But I also don't want you to have too much inventory that's unlisted. That will suffocate you. It will take all your money, all your space, all your mental juju. You will feel disappointed in yourself, discouraged, you're going to feel beat up, you're going to have all these negative feelings if you buy inventory and don't list it. So I recommend, if you have a good eye, this is the usually, if I ask people what's your greatest skill, if they say shopping, I worry that person's going to have a depressing reselling career, because shopping is only a small part of this. And if you're really good at shopping, I recommend you spend, listen to this, please listen to this. If you're really, really good at shopping, spend 99% of your time shopping. Okay? Very important. A lot of shoppers I know are also lazy. So they only shop for an hour or two. Guess what? You're not going to find amazing deals in 1 hour. It doesn't work that way. It takes time to find it. I'm going to give you guys a horrible lesson. Okay, so here's one other thought. Shazad, what's up? Thank you for joining. Shazad's an awesome replenishable seller. I think he's in the UK. Shazad, email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com if you can at 2 p.m. UK time. I want you to stop by my mastermind call, if you don't mind, so we can ask you some questions on how you were doing it. I'm surprised. Probably 20% of my mastermind call is people in the UK. That's super awesome. But I want you guys to focus on maintaining your sales. And if you're a shopper, you need to shop more. So this is the example I'm going to give. This blew my mind. This morning, I am trying to make a tool that can help people source at home. Okay, this is the biggest question I get. Chris, I live in BFE. Is that the term? Um, anyway, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in an urban area. I want to get stuff coming to me. How do I source? I don't live in a big city. Well, I can tell you from experience, I would rather live in BFE, and I'm not sure what that stands for. I'd rather live there than live where I live, because where I live, the average rent is $3,000, and my property tax is more than people's rent. It's insane. Okay, so I would rather live where you are and keep your overhead really low and learn how to source online. So let me give you guys an idea of how difficult it is. This morning, okay, myself and two talented sourcing programmers, we went on the eBay. We're like, okay, we don't know anything. Our goal is to find profitable items to resell. Buy on eBay, resell on eBay, right? Just cold. So we're like, okay, let's split it up. You look at these things, you look at these things, I'll look at these things. We started looking at arbitraging, right? And then so we're looking at products over the course of 1 hour. Get this, I found zero. I didn't find one product that I could buy on eBay and reflip. The one gentleman also found one, and the other gentleman found a replenishable that um, was selling really well on eBay. So we looked and we found that item on another website for sale for way less than eBay. So we found two products. One product that was replenishable, right? So at the end, we sort of narrowed down the categories. We were looking at playing cards and we were looking at gardening tools. Okay. In the gardening tools, we found replenishable by looking, because gardening is super hot right now. Right now, people are stuck at home, they're looking for stuff. So we found a gardening tool that sells a lot, and we found a website that was selling it for less. There's an opportunity. So one, but it was a $4 profit. On the sporting cards, the same. We found one PSA graded card that was about a $4 difference between eBay and StockX. So it was interesting. You could buy it on eBay, get the item, then sell it on StockX, and you would have made a $4 profit. So I was thinking, wow, this is actually quite difficult to find an item straight up on eBay starting cold. And this was us picking categories that we're not familiar with. I'm pretty sure in an hour I could find a profitable shoe to buy, because I know so much about it and what kind of things I'm looking for, common misspellings, common sizes that, for example, a size 15 running shoe isn't going to sell as well as a size 15 basketball shoe, right? That would make sense because a lot more taller people play basketball than run, right? So you think about those kinds of things. But if without a niche, trying to just, okay, let's look through eBay's 1 billion listings and try to find something to arbitrage, that's too hard, way too hard. Okay, next is trying to do everything by yourself. This is some weird thing that everyone gets stuck into, including myself. There's no reason for you to do it all yourself. And I see people trying to do this. Like, I want to homeschool my kid. I want to run my own business. I don't trust anyone. I want to do all the listing, all the photographs, and that, yes. So what ends up happening, usually what I see is they burn out. If they do all that stuff, they don't take care of themselves. They end up being super stressed. They don't have time to exercise. They don't have time to relax. They burn out. And what ends up happening is, this is just me thinking about it from the as an outsider. They're actually not spending very much quality time with their family, even though that's what they said is most important to them. So it's almost like the people who are okay with bringing in help, like letting your kid help you cook, or letting someone come in and help you tutor your kid, or letting somebody manage your business. That's going to allow you to spend more quality time with your kid. Also, thank you for the recommendation on the 5 love languages. I asked on my channel if you guys had any marriage advice, and that book came up a couple of times, and we have read it. My love language is quality time and physical touch. I think that's what it is. Hers is quality time and acts of service. Okay, so those are the two. Although we like all of them, we're not as big into the gifts thing. That's one of the 5 love languages is gifts. So that's like the least on both of our lists. But quality time is number one for both. So that's why I like to reserve 6 p.m. and on as wife friend time, no cell phone, put it away. That's been great. And it's to the point now where I can't tell you guys how awesome this is. It doesn't look like it because I have a little bit of bags under my eyes, but I'm falling asleep really fast now because 3 hours without a cell phone, my brain is ready for sleep. So that's been a hack for me. And also, this is really cool. I just visited my friend in Utah, and I don't need an alarm clock. I naturally wake up at the same time every day now. So that's been amazing. Okay, next is, I think everyone who's listening right now, smash the like button if this is true. I think you underestimate how much time it takes to do the back end work. When you're running an eBay store, there's a lot. There's a lot of receipts to reconcile. There's a lot of ordering supplies. There's a lot of adjusting templates. I had a dress that was listed as a pair of jeans. So somebody messaged me from my YouTube audience saying, yo, you're never going to sell this because it's the wrong pictures for the wrong item. Maybe you underestimate the time it takes to go in and actually fix that, right? So that's a huge thing. Start to pack in how much time it takes to get that stuff done. What's up, the family flips? We're going to be doing a series with them. I think they can talk about their TV show now, so I'm super excited to go over that. And you guys should definitely follow the family flips on YouTube. Maybe Ali can help them put their YouTube channel in the chat. Okay, next is refusal to quit. Okay, this is massive. If you really want to sell something and it's not selling well, please move on to something else. If you're in the one-off game, then just sell something else. If you're in the replenishable game, maybe work on it a little bit longer, but there's no embarrassment for quitting. There's not. Um, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I thought I could sell this and I can't. Nothing wrong with that. It's totally all about finding what works for you. Let's talk about this for just a moment. What works for you? So I don't like the advice. I don't like the advice, follow your passion, because I feel like passion doesn't equal what the market yields. And most people right now just want to get a couple of extra grand a week or a couple of extra grand a month. And when you're in that stage, I just recommend you get really good at a niche. Now, if you have some kind of intrinsic value, like you like that niche, that helps a lot. Okay, but it's not required. For me, I'm more into ranking something, making it work, learning how things actually sell, than just straight up, um, than just straight up. I have to love the items that I'm selling. I don't really think that that's the way to do it. So don't refuse to pivot. Pivot when you can. Okay, next is lack of data. Okay, because you guys are making decisions without actually knowing your numbers. This is huge. This is why I recommend you outsource, right? So not to plug on my VA service too much, but like having them work with me so that I can get daily visibility is really important to me. I decided that ultimately I do want to make between $1,000 and $2,000 profit in my resale store every day, but It's really freaking hard to make your revenue grow linearly. That has just not been my experience. It has gone up and down since I have started. So hopefully that's encouraging for you guys. Don't think that this is just the easy way to paradise. It's got a lot of bumps in the road. So that's why it's cool to have some visibility daily, weekly, monthly, keep you motivated for the long term. Figure out how to get your data under control. That's huge. Um, okay. So I think it may have switched microphones, so make sure that you guys can hear me. Um, let me see here. I think I only have a couple more ideas. If you guys have any other chats, or any other questions, throw them in the chat. Maybe you guys can get me. And then let's see here. Oh, it's quieter. Okay. So I'll try to speak up right now because the microphone switched. Thank you, Ali, for being so on top of it. But again, okay, I'm just gonna wrap it up. So I appreciate you guys coming in here, and I just want to point out a couple of things that um, are huge. So this is the last thing I'm gonna end on. So smash the like button. I appreciate you guys coming here. All my videos are sponsored by my reseller field guide, which is how I run my business. It's 35 bucks with code YouTube in the description below. But here we go. This is the last thing. When you think about small business, the one thing in common with all small business is the small business owner. When you buy a franchise, they basically turn owners into employees, and that's why it works so well. So when you pay $2 million to open a McDonald's, that's what my wife wants to do. She wants us to make enough money to buy a McDonald's because she really believes in it. She's like, how is it that wherever we go, the McDonald's experience is very similar? Let's try and get one of them because it's guaranteed money, kind of. So we watched we met this guy that has a few of them, and he was saying he averages $180,000 profit per location per year. Um, so you're paying $2 million to buy into the McDonald's franchise. But here's the thing: you don't get to run your McDonald's however the hell you feel like it. That's not how it works. If you buy a McDonald's, you run it how they do it. Okay? That's the part that's the most important. So you go to their university, I think it's Hamburger University, learn how to do it their way, right? And they come into your restaurant and make sure that you're doing it their way. You really just execute their model. So I think this is the problem with small business. There's so many things that we have to do: packing, shipping, sourcing, inventory management, store. There's so much stuff that we have to do, but there's no manager and there's no vision, right? Ultimately, if you guys were to ask me what I want out of all this, why do I have a YouTube channel? What's the goal? Originally, I thought I wanted to make an eBay franchise for you guys. So I have a specific amount of space. You guys click on it and buy you buy the Daily Refinement eBay store model. You get the exact same unit, you buy the exact same equipment, you get inventory the exact same way, you list it the same way, you photograph it the same way, you ship it the same way, you get your paycheck the same way. I was thinking that would be awesome, but it is actually extremely difficult. Um, the Lone Star Picker is saying McDonald's is successful because of habits. I agree with that. Um, because people get into a habit, and I think McDonald's actually calls people who eat there all the time heavy users. That's like the terminology internally in McDonald's. For people who eat there a couple times a week are considered heavy users. Somebody's asking about my power unit. Okay, so there's a I use a Yeti 400, which is which is this thing. So this powers my unit, and it lasts for probably it can power all of my equipment for like 12 hours. It is 600 bucks. You don't need to buy this one. You can buy a cheaper one that doesn't last as long. But um, that being said, the unit that I have right now is approved for light commercial use. So people are saying that all storage units don't have power, and I'm lying. I don't know why I would lie about that. But A lot of storage units do have power because they're approved for light commercial use. It depends on who you are calling. In the unit that I am in, there are no consumers here. 100% businesses. Every single unit has power. Every single unit has lighting. It's different. It depends on what kind of unit you get. If you go to like extra space storage, and it's only people who store their stuff, because we live in America and everyone fills their house all the way to the brim with stuff and then they need a storage unit. Why would that unit have power? It's just a storage unit. It's literally a storage unit. I work in a light commercial area, right? So they're approved. You can make stuff here. You could pay extra and get a refrigerator if you need that for your business. Like, it just depends on what you have. I actually do pay a power bill here, so it depends on where you work, what kind of things are available to you. But it's not true that storage units don't have power. This is not even plugged. My thing is not even plugged in right now. And actually, if I decide to stay in this unit, I'm gonna move this to my car, and have it be part of my bug out kit. And that's for like when the apocalypse hits, because I think that there might be something rough, because I don't know why the economy is not tanking right now. I feel like there might be more riots and protests in the future, and hopefully I can just jump in my car and escape for a minute while things calm down. How much does my unit cost? $1,500. I have two of these. So my rent is a lot. It's like, let's see. I have 800 square feet, so it's about $2 a square foot. There's also other fees. So Christian is asking about Wi-Fi. Yes, they have Wi-Fi here. You can pay extra to be part of their Wi-Fi, or you can use your own. I have Mint Mobile. So Mint Mobile is my Wi-Fi card. It's inside the phone that I use the list. I'm streaming from my regular phone right now, but I am switching. Yeah, 1,500 total for both. But there's other fees. 1,500 total is just for the space, but then there's also electricity. There's some other fees with that. It's a little over $2 a square foot. U-Haul storage has lights but does not have heat. That's interesting too. Luckily, I live in a mild area. Um, yeah, what's up? So, Seichin, I usually don't do live streams, so I'm probably gonna record our interview, but maybe we'll do a live stream if you prefer to do it that way. We can go. And if you guys are interested in being on my show, email me, chris@dailyrefinement.com. We'll do a quick chat. I'll go over what's working for you, what's not working for you. Let's talk about it. I've committed to doing e-commerce for 10 years. So that's how I look at it. How do I want to do this over 10 years? Okay, we can do a live stream. So we'll do a live stream, and just go over it. Guys, I think Seichin, is that how you pronounce your name? I think he's like 14 years old and runs an awesome eBay store. So I love that. I love talking to younger entrepreneurs. I've learned more from the younger people. How much was my goal income before renting a $1,500 warehouse? I'd say, if you guys have been watching me for a while, I started reselling in an apartment, and then I moved to a huge house, and that was awesome for a while. So I was making maybe 10 grand gross before I moved to my first storage unit, and that unit was $450 a month. So I would say, if it's 10% of your profit, that would be ideal for your rent. Although it could be higher than that depending on where you live, but most of the people who watch my channel don't live in California, so it should be cheaper. 10% of your total profit should totally be doable. Um, but yeah, thanks, Allie. And always, drop a line. Let me know how things are going. And I don't have time for non-paid store reviews, but I could just answer a question or two. If you're like, hey, here's my store, tell me what to do, like that's like super disrespectful, honestly. That's like, not because I'm important, but that's just how you wouldn't treat somebody like that. Like, hey, can you come next week and look at my sandwich shop and tell me what's wrong with it? Like, people are busy. Who's gonna take you up on that? It takes a lot of time to do that. um but if you have a specific question, like, hey, I'm testing out promoted listings and I was at 3%, what do you think about me doing 7%? Let's have a conversation and talk about it. I think promoted listings is the eBay mafia, and some people have to pay it to get it. Without replenishables, what would I recommend? I would recommend. Wow, that's an interesting question. So T is asking, without replenishables, what would I recommend for $20 profit? Electronics, shoes, and cameras. If I was only allowed to sell three, actually, cameras is kind of electronics. Um, let's see. I would sell shoes, I would sell electronics, and I would sell probably some kind of equipment is what I would sell. As soon as the George Floyd cops are acquitted, there will be more riots. Yeah, that's very possible. Okay, like, okay, this is I'm just gonna spend 2 seconds on this, which is the George Floyd thing. I live only half a mile from the police station, so it's been kind of nuts here. But I learned more about the black community than I ever have before, ever. There was so much education where I live in California, like how people were treated, all the history. I had no idea. Like I didn't know about any of this stuff. I didn't know what July, I didn't know what Juneteenth was. I didn't know about any of this stuff. So it's been very enlightening looking at how our country has worked and how all these different segregation and discrimination things, like I didn't know that much about it. So I'm glad that this happened. I'm not glad that George Floyd was killed, but I'm glad that I brought awareness for everybody, and that is a good thing. So that really did help me understand what was really going on. So it kind of blew my mind. Um, Yeah, so originally my wife got the advice from her boss to just read the news. So don't watch any news because whatever, just read a couple of articles. And I think what we need to know is that discrimination still exists, very much so. That's how I look at it. And what you can do is really just focus on what you can do. That's how I look at it. Um, and it's tough. Your environment has so much to do with what you end up being. And especially where I live in Oakland. Like barbecue Becky happened at that lake that I live right next to. There's insane amounts of discrimination. Oakland PD, where I am, they have had a bad history as well. um, and it's almost like the San Francisco pushed all the black people into Oakland. That's what they say. So it's like kind of an interesting thing to see that actually happening in my community. But there's only so much you can do. I think right now it's important for everyone to realize that there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of displaced people. Right now, PPP and unemployment are kind of bailing people out. Once that ends, it's going to be a little bit scary. So everyone just hold your horses. Not anticipating, I'm not anticipating that. Thank you, Ali, for coming. Um, I'm not anticipating it's going to get any easier the rest of the year, honestly. So smash the like button if you agree. But I think it's not easy money season. I don't know anyone that's saying that. Are there people saying that right now it's going to be really easy to make money? Because I don't see that. What do I think determines class? I think one thing that really harms class is the what's up, Chef and Beauty. Is just the environment. Like it's real toxic people, toxic environments. It makes it hard for people to get out of that situation, because there's no one around you. There's no hope. There's no, um, you just need one role model. Usually, people that make it out, someone told them along the way, you can do it. That's like very common. You'll hear like somebody read a Tony Robbins book, or they saw Oprah, or they saw something and then it inspired them that they could do it, and they got the hell out of that environment as soon as possible. That makes sense. I really like Asia. I think it is a little different, but I like the United States better. I'll tell you why. It's because of the diversity. Diversity is more interesting. In China, it's just all Chinese people. It's all right. I mean, I like Hong Kong. Hong Kong's kind of under fire right now, but it's not as interesting to live there. There's not as much innovation. People are not looking out for each other as much. As bad as it is, I feel like people here do kind of look out for each other. But it's also like this. Okay, this is I think this relates to what we're doing right now, which is the people who set up something make the rules. Okay, so it doesn't surprise me that white people set up a system where white people benefit. That doesn't, does that surprise anybody who's listening to this right now? If you start a business, don't you set up the business so that it benefits you the most? Once you set up an environment for where you live, shouldn't that environment benefit you the most, or you and your family? That makes sense to me. So it's like, um, you get to set up the system that you live in, try to make it advantageous for you. If you're in a system that's oppressive, get out of that system if you can. Unplug yourself from that system and go somewhere else. Um, you think there's an intelligent power that creates situations that we don't know why these things happen? Maybe. I think that we are the aliens, and because we're so much different than everything else on this world, and we're taking over. Humans dominate the earth. So it could be a higher power, it could be God, whatever you believe in. I think there's something to that. I don't think that you need psychedelics to believe that. Just try to think about why we have to go to sleep every day. That's odd, right? For 6 to 8 hours, we just have to unplug. Um, you think it's important for people to focus on? Well, okay. Here's another thing. There are people that are making massive strides. So like where I live, there's all kinds of problems, but there's so many people who make an amazing difference, and I wish that the media would reward that, but they don't. The media rewards a lot of negativity and garbage, but there's a lot of good people doing amazing things that don't get any light. What's up, Kathy? Stay safe. Yeah, it is. Are you guys still required to wear masks? We are pretty much nonstop. Everything's not really open. What's up, hustle muscle? I'm still continuing the squat every day thing. That's been amazing. That's I would say that right now I am just like so happy because I'm working on hard stuff all day long. So, okay, another note, because I have to go soon and I want you guys to write something down. This is very important. Um, Everything starts to fix itself after 30 to 60 minutes of focusing. This is really important. So as an example, you're going to get a Rolo printer or a label printer or a new computer, right? And it's not going to work. I guarantee you all of the drivers and things will not match. So what you could do is go on to Facebook and complain or post some stupid meme of your printer being broken and being like hashtag adulting or something. Or you could just go to that website, look up the troubleshooting area, try to Google the exact same thing that you're doing, and 30 to 60 minutes later, that problem will go away. Okay, so I have been doing that all day, and it's really been awesome. It is definitely exhausting. Um, California's locked down. Do I recommend a software to save my eBay items and sync them to your website? I would say Shopify is the best site to sync. Holy crap, there's a lot of questions. Yes. So just 30 to 60 minutes is all you need to really start knocking out a problem. That's my opinion. 30 to 60 minutes. So don't overwhelm yourself. What's up, Alyssa? Thank you for buying the field guide. That helps me out a lot. So how these videos work, if you guys wonder how I do this, I basically spend like an hour or two looking for things that I've done from my journal or things that I'm reading or listening to make into a digestible form for these videos. Suchin, yeah, okay, great. Suchin. Is it safe to thrift right now in the Bay Area? I don't think so. I don't think okay, here's the thing. Are we going to be okay? Probably, because most people have a healthy immune system. Do I think that COVID is super deadly? No. Personally, I don't think it's a super deadly disease. That doesn't mean I think we should all just ignore it. I think what you should do is learn how to source online right now. That's the key. It's not easy. Today, myself and two of my friends only figured out, oh, it's Sauchin. Sauchin. Okay. Um, Today, two of my friends only found $100 profit in an hour between the three of us, and it was extremely difficult. Actually, like I felt like this is what I call eye bleeding. Okay, so when you're just stuck at a computer trying to figure something out, and that's how I feel about a few different things: sourcing, listing, shipping. Like it's kind of hard on your eyes, right? But once you start getting some momentum and you can outsource some of this stuff, then you can take it over. Actually, in a perfect world, I think the only screen that I would look at is a video camera. Honestly, I like talking about my ideas, but I don't want to do any. I'd rather not use a computer in a perfect world. Where am I switching my phone? Oh, I'm switching to T-Mobile. T-Mobile has an unlimited hotspot for 20 bucks. So, and they're giving away a free Galaxy right now. And I'm not getting paid to say that. So I'm switching over to T-Mobile for 20 bucks. But Mint Mobile was fantastic. It was a great service while I had it. But honestly, 30 to 60 minutes is awesome. You found $350 today profit at the thrift. Amazing. Alexis, thank you. What are my favorite brands? My favorite brand to resell is Gucci. Um, hmm, that's pretty much it. I don't. I like Gucci because it's really cool stuff usually. But yeah, I just want everyone to think. Make progress daily is my theme. I want everyone to think about that all areas of your life. What's up, Andrew, in Ireland? That's cool. I would love to go to Ireland. My wife said it was amazing, so I want to definitely travel if we ever open up again to go. I think Ireland would be awesome. Not just the Guinness factory, which is what everyone like. I think that must be the number one tourist attraction there. But I've been to England a few times, but never Ireland. I'm excited to go. Um, should I switch my major in college to business? Ah, great question. So this is how I look at it. Get really good at something. Get into the top 20% of something. That's it. A lot of times, business school is too generic, and I think that you definitely need to get really, really good at a niche. That's really important. So it's like I almost value technical or vocational school more than regular college because I don't think that you really need a gen ed degree. You just need to learn how to get, excuse me, really good at something. So if you want to sell shoes, talk to a lot of shoe sellers. If you want to sell equipment, talk to a lot of equipment sellers. Yeah, I have these shirts and fanny packs and all kinds of cool gear below my chat in the Teespring link. Let's see. What's this question? The racism in California history is rich. Yeah, yeah. No, no. I'm not saying that there's no discrimination. I'm just saying I'm still learning about it. Like, obviously, I'm not free of discrimination either. I mean, I'm Chinese and I get a go back to Korea comment like once a month, which that doesn't even I don't even know how to be offended by that. It doesn't even make sense. So I mean, it definitely exists, but it's almost like you know how they have the environment where if you grow up in some communities, you don't feel like you can ever make something of yourself, right? Um, I feel like I had the opposite. Okay, as an Asian, I feel like I can do anything. So I don't know where I learned. Where did I learn that? I learned that you can do whatever. Actually, I don't even like that advice. I don't like people saying, you know what, you can do anything. I don't agree with that. I would say like when I have kids, I'm gonna say you can do like 8 things in your whole life. Not everything. That's bullshit. Excuse my language. You can't do everything. You can only do a few things really well. There's not enough time. What replenishables produce $10 profit? What's up, Deborah? This is a good question. Okay, lots of replenishable questions. Have I ever sourced from AliExpress? Yes. So let me give you an example. Yesterday or a few days ago, we were talking about masks, and we were looking them up on AliExpress. And on AliExpress, there was I mean, every single one of these masks was profitable. None of them were $10 profitable though. It takes time to get to that level. Um, your daughter's mom is from California. Nice. Um, Asian American. Yeah, Asian American is and Lone Star Picker or whoever, if you guys want to have a private chat, you can just email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com. Um, but okay, I don't look at this as a victim or not victim thing. The reason why is because if you don't think you can do it, that is not really a victim mentality. I think that's just you being a product of your environment. I that's why I don't necessarily agree. People don't know they can do it. That's I didn't get that programming, but I've met people who don't think they can do it. That's what I want. I want to. There's a problem with the system where people think they can't do it. That's an issue. And there's also the reverse problem. A lot of millennials get this thought, which is from their parents. Their parents gave them unconditional love, and they say it doesn't matter what you do, you're a success. That's also a problem because they're not actually really good at something. The advice should be the same for everyone, which is try to get into the top 20% of whatever it is that you do. So the reality is not everybody can be successful, but you can probably get into the top 20%. That's how I look at it. That's my opinion. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with that. I don't think everyone could be a millionaire, but you could get into a 70K plus year job. Most people could do that. That's just my opinion. If you focus on getting really good at one thing. What is my opinion on selling on Amazon versus eBay? They're different. It's different. Um, and Sao Chin. Okay, Sao Chin. You are. I think you're Asian or part Asian, and so I I think that all Asians think that. I could be wrong, but I feel like most Asians feel like they can get into the top 20%. I just don't feel like that's the same for all races. It's just white and black actually suffer the most from what I've seen. I meet white people all the time that have really, really low self-confidence. It's not just African Americans, it's every race. But African Americans oftentimes have communities where literally they have no idea they can be successful. It's programmed that they're going to suck. That's like built into the system. Like you get to live in this area that's not as good as this area. So as soon as you're born, you're in this way of thinking. But you know what's insane is that like India and China, I think if you've already made it to the US, you've already won. That's what I've thought. Like not every Asian makes it here. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think that that's right. Somebody's talking about brainwashing. I feel like if you grow up in an area that that's toxic, I don't know how you fix that. What's up, Charlie? Yeah, it's just my opinion. Oh, Crystal, what's up? My car rental business is really annoying. I have one car left. It's not a good use of my time. I make 300 to 500 bucks per car, but I just going there and taking care of the cars when they have break-ins or oil changes or all that stuff is ends up being like I make about 100 bucks an hour, which is great. Okay, like 100 bucks an hour is about what my time is worth, but I can make 100 bucks an hour without leaving my apartment. So I'll just stick to what I'm doing. There's too many things going on. So the car rental is nice, but it's not passive income because the cars require some maintenance. It's okay though. What blows, okay, this is awesome. Where I live, you can rent a Model S Tesla for 23 bucks an hour. That is dope. Okay, so instead of me having a ridiculous overhead for a vehicle, I can just rent an amazing car for 25 bucks an hour. Steve is asking about my car rental business. Um, let's see. Hold on. Let me answer Lone Star questions first. You've questioned ecom prep for the fourth quarter, in case we have another Groundhog Day. Ooh, that is such a good question. Um, okay. I mean, you didn't hear it first, but this is my opinion of the pandemic. Please smash the like button. I think this was not bad at all. I think we can all agree that this pandemic was not as bad as we thought, right? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you think it was or wasn't as bad. I think the fall will be worse than the spring, and I think next spring will be worse than this spring, and then it will go away. More deadly is what I mean. More people will die in the fall and in the spring than this spring, which in my opinion was super mild. And I'm basing that off of what the Spanish flu did. Spanish flu got worse the next 2 seasons and then went away. So that's just my opinion on what I think is going to happen. So when that happens, when if that happens, that means that Q4 and next year Q1 are going to be ugly, maybe even Q2. So what can we do to prepare? I would say focus on um, keeping your overhead as low as possible. Um, Remove yourself from the media. So someone asked me what I thought about Trump calling it the Chinese virus. Didn't think about it at all. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't apply to me. It's not related to what I'm doing. All I need to know is that where I live, we're required to wear a mask when we go outside. I'm trying to lower my bills as much as possible, so I don't have to wear a vest of obligation. I can just keep my overhead small and tight. Hopefully, the storm will blow over in the next year or so. My advice is not going to be that popular. It's just going to be like, just be conservative for the next year. Um, you, I just feel like there's not that much that we need to know right now. Okay, we just need to know that, okay, I like this thought, which is act as if God exists, right? Jordan Peterson said that. He's like, people ask, do you believe in God? And he's like, my answer is I act as if God exists. I'm acting as if the virus does exist, okay? And it's not 5G. I'm saying that it might exist. Why don't I just act that way? It doesn't affect my day-to-day life that much anyway. It's causing me to cook more, so it's making me more healthy. I got the squat rack in here because of the pandemic, so I'm grateful for my squat every day habit. I just think just just be conservative the next year. Diversify your assets. That's a tough one because I kind of feel like the millionaires have more than one stream of income is super misleading because like they start out with one really big income usually. You had more time to boost your eBay. Yeah, I agree. I feel like right now everyone has more time. As long as you're not watching too much TV. But I'm over it. I'm so Netflixed out. I can't watch any more stuff. It's so mindless. Do you know if revising an item in eBay hurts the algorithm? Yes and no. If it makes your item better for customers, then no. Revising an item eventually will make it do better because eBay is based on two metrics: click-through rate, sales rate. That's it. How many people click when they see the picture and the title? So if you adjust it, it's a better picture, better title, it's going to work better. And if you make it worse, then it's going to rank worse. Yeah, Elliot, I totally agree with that. Millionaires start with one big income, then diversify. Yeah, Nate, there's a link in the description below. I'll put it in the description after this, but it should be in the banner below the video for merchandise. Christian ranks his income sources. I have like 11 income sources right now, but all of them come from eBay. So like I do eBay, I talk about eBay on this, then other people ask me about what I know on eBay. That's like the majority of my income. And then also there's all these little things I teach people along the way, like eBay Partner Network, right? You set that up, that makes me a few $100 a month. There's Amazon Associates, which surprisingly doesn't make me that much. I'm really disappointed with my Amazon affiliate income. I don't get it. I don't get how it's so low. But um, like Rockstar Flipper, I think Rockstar Flipper makes 6 figures from Amazon Associates. That's amazing. Great job, Casey. I don't know how you pulled that off. It's hard. He's really smart. I don't know how you can organize your channel so you get that much traffic to your Amazon. That's insane. So I've got to like watch his channel more and figure out how he did it. Um, what's up, 101? Yeah, no, okay. You guys don't even know. I'm glad that you guys are here right now because this channel is going to be insane soon. This is why, okay? Um, I know this channel will become insanely popular because of this. Oh wait, let me go back to Steve real quick on the rental car before I talk about why this channel is going to blow up. Um, I use the service Getaround and Turo. These are two rental car companies. I buy cars that are usually at the end of their depreciation cycle. Okay, so for a Prius, they stop depreciating right around 9 grand. Okay, so my car I purchased for 9 grand. It's an '09 Prius. I bought it with 23,000 miles. I know I call that a cream puff. That's what like grandpas call it. So it's a cream puff. It was 10 years old and only had 23,000 miles on it. I could rent this car out for 10 years and then sell it for 9 grand again. It's already at the end of the depreciation cycle. So you get the car, it doesn't go down anymore with more miles on it. Put that on the rental car service. Make sure you get full coverage, and then ideally you would get a parking spot for it so it doesn't get broken into. Rental cars get broken into a lot because with these apps, people can figure out where they are. So people use the app to identify where your car is. They break into it. The car key is stored inside of the car. So people will break into the car and try and steal it. That's what people are doing. That's why it's a pain in the ass to have a rental car company, because I paid the extra money for the immobilizer. So the car doesn't work. So, but they don't know that. So they break into the car, get the key, and they try and steal the car, and it doesn't work. So they leave my car a mess, and I have to pay for it because it's not during an active rental. That's why I'm not doing rental cars anymore. Is it profitable? Yes. You make $30 profit a day. That's pretty good, honestly. So, um, it's not passive income, but it is solid. I actually have a course on it that I don't talk about, and I discontinued it. But I did it one time, think that was a valid opportunity for people, and it is. I just don't. It's again, I don't have that much time. I don't. But that is a thing. So okay, let's talk about why this channel is going to explode. So right now, we're in this pandemic situation, so I can't hire anybody to work here. Um, but when I have two, I'm going to hire two people to work here, and then I'm going to look for ways to get interesting stuff to come into my store. So I don't know if I'll have 1 million subscribers, but I'll probably have 250,000 subscribers because of that, because that's actually interesting. Right now, the people who watch my channel are just people trying to make extra money. It's not that entertaining. I don't have anything to look at. I have not selling that much interesting things. My channel is mostly education, right? But if my channel was entertaining, then it would be much more popular. I mean, right now, I mean, there's probably going to be comments. There's a comment every single video that's like, this is the most boring channel ever. You should you should just off yourself and walk into the ocean. Why do you make content that's so boring? How can you live? This is the kind of stuff that happens when you run a YouTube channel, and I think that it's made me super zen. Because okay, this is why. Okay, this is how you do it. I don't ignore the haters. That's not how you do it. How you do it is you thank everyone for their opinion, no matter what their opinion is. Okay, then you're fine. Someone's like, you you should I like you should walk directly into the ocean. That's like a Bill Burr thing. It's very funny to me. But to me, it doesn't bother me because I'm just like, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for taking the time to write that. So I only have two responses. I'm sorry, four responses. So they're all saved. First response is thank you. Okay. So for most people, they get thank you. Second one is you're welcome. Because some people are like, thank you for this channel. I actually used something and made more money. Boom, you're welcome. Response number one, thank you. Response number two, you're welcome. Response number three, delete. So there are some comments that are racist or whatever. I just removed that person from my channel. It's not even worth a response. The last one is a question. This is hard because I don't have a response for every single question. So I'm usually like, email me or Google it, or, that's a bit challenging. But 99% of the time I use thank you or you're welcome. Let's see. Yeah, you can track analytics. Um, but I know what makes my channel popular. It's just me shopping. People, honestly, most people just need to know what to buy. That's the majority of this stuff. You don't understand your content is great. Well, I mean, I understand. I understand why, because people are people. I'm not. I'm never surprised by comments. Like, I love comments. Sometimes people are like, "This is what you do. If you want to list 100 items a day, all you need to do is get 100 items ready, hit the crack pipe, start listing." To me, that's an awesome comment. I have no issue with that. That's very entertaining to me. Someone took the time to think of that little quippy thing. Amazing. Most comments are like that. It's just like quality people. There's there's a most of the people who take the time to do stuff are quality people. Um, but actually, the best stuff is the emails. It's not comments, because comments is whatever. 25% personality and charisma. Yeah, actually, that does matter. Um, Let me see here. All right. Well, I gotta go. Or actually, I'm gonna finish listing these shoes and today before I go home. So that's gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt. Oh, Trent is asking, do people rent the cars on an app or a website? Either. So Get Around is both an app and a website. You do need to list it on your phone because you unlock the car with the app. What do I think about Crazy Lister? I think you should hire your own lister. Another thing about this unit is they're all individually alarmed, and there's a lot better. Um, what's it called? There's a lot better security here. A lot of the people who work in my unit sell CBD oil, so their stuff is a lot way more valuable than yeah. What's up, Warren? A bit. I am not drinking enough water. Where's my water bottle? No, I'm not drinking enough water. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Is Crazy Lister any good? Yeah, no, I recommend you use your own. You use your own lister. But this water bottle, guys, is sick. So I try to drink 1 gallon a day. And oh yeah, can't wait to go to Ireland for whiskey and beer. But this 1 gallon jar has been awesome, and it's because of this magnetic lid. That's the best part of this. But yeah, as far as water goes, I have been limiting my beer intake to just 1 beer a month, and this has been killing it for me. I got it during the pandemic, so I didn't talk about this on my channel, but I sold 20 of these Rogue squat racks. I bought 20 when they dropped the email that they were back in stock. I bought 20 of them, and they came, and I sold all of them for between $100 and $400 profit each. Um, and I just kept one, so it's been awesome. I haven't done consignment for a company. I've consigned items before. I've used the Real Real. I've used Flight Club. That's been cool. But I want to do some consignment on my own. I'm going to look at Ricochet and Liberty 5. So thank you guys for giving me those suggestions. I will get on that. And then let me know if you guys want me to do more live Q&As like this. Smash the like button, let me know. I usually don't do these very often because I'm trying to keep my content to 10-minute videos. What are the weights in the back used for? So like, this is the bar. I'm sitting on the bench rack, and these weights just go on each side. They're just barbell weights. Sorry, trying to read the comments. You couldn't do a dry tour of the Guinness. I know. No, I like excess and moderation. Don't worry. How old was I when I started my reselling journey? 19. My first job was with eBay in the trust and safety department in Utah. So I've been reselling a long time. When I was doing, I worked for eBay in a long time ago, more than 10 years ago. So when I worked for eBay, I was in the trust and safety department. So I removed items that were not allowed on the website. So this was Nazi items. I probably will be demonetized for saying that word. I removed Nazi items. I removed used underwear. I removed women's shoes listings that were predatory for foot fetish. That's not allowed on the website. So I would go through if the man or woman's foot is visible, you can just remove that listing. It's not allowed because that's like predatory. So I got to remove those. I got to remove any ivory. Ivory is not allowed. That's crazy. Did COVID hit my reselling business hard? It did. It was like double. It doubled for a month. So when COVID hit in the middle, maybe longer than a month, I think I had $2,000 in sales every day during COVID, the peak of it. Now it's started to drop down a little bit lower than that. I'm right around 800 a day, but it was higher than that before. This is an average, so I'm not sure where it's gonna go. Yeah, this is the money god. Everyone pray to the money god. Do I sell grocery products? No, I currently do not. Although, I do think it would be fun to sell snacks. That's a good product. Because here's the thing, like, okay, I'm gonna end on this thought. It's nice to tell people what you do for a living. And if you said, I sell snacks, then your friends and family can actually support you. It's easier for them to buy stuff from you. And I think that's important because when you're just getting started, it really helps when people get into it. Little Yoda, what's your question? Let me see. Um, do you have someone manually creating each listing on eBay or upload with a CSV file? Good question. I'm not going to show you right now, but it's a CSV file. CSV file is what I'm building right now. So the items go into the spreadsheet. I take the photos, they get matched up. That's how I list. How much more productive would I be without YouTube? Great question. It's about 2 hours a day I spend on YouTube. So I probably would be less productive because I like YouTube. And YouTube is not a good use of my money. I do not make $100 an hour on YouTube. So it's all right. YouTube is okay. I make a decent amount, but it's not $100 an hour. I don't know. That's a good question too. This is a thought I want to present. Maybe you guys can answer it for me. Should I oh man. I spend the most of my time on my resale business. My resale business requires the least amount of time. What's an eBay? Or Andrew's asking about a good click-through rate. It depends on the category. I would say that clothing, maybe 0.3, 0.5% is good. For something rare and cool, maybe as high as 4% click-through rate. And then 1 or 2% on conversion rate is excellent, in my opinion. Just depends on what it is, but that's it for today. So everyone have a wonderful day. You're welcome to email me at chris@dailyrefinement.com. I appreciate you guys listening, tuning in always. Take care. Bye.